Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Wednesday, a hump day edition of the Epic Show here on Orange Bloods Live. So pumped to be here with you guys. Man, we got a big show to get to today. We want to talk a little bit about Ryan Wingo. I just finished up the offensive side of the deep dig for this week. Kelvin Banks finally showing up as a non-NA on the snaps per disruption allowed and or penalty caused sheet, but not to fear. We'll pull that thing up a little bit later and you'll see something absolutely sensational, man. The offensive line played sensational in this last game. And I have something else sensational that I want to talk to you guys about regarding the defense and something I dug up in the deep dig as well. We also have the SEC teleconference from today. We got to hear from a bunch of different coaches. Lane Kiffin throwing a little bit of subtle shade at Hugh Freeze, which I thought was just amazing. Sark talked on that thing as well. So, yeah, man, just a whole bunch to get to today, Cody. What I wanted to start off with, do you want to start off with Wingo, or do you want me to start with this missed tackles thing?
I want to start with Wingo because I teased it on Twitter. I teased it a little bit in the graphic, putting him on the graphic. You know, you said already the alpha. I just wanted to. I found a stat that I thought was interesting. It's kind of I wouldn't say a cherry pick stat, more so a sample size standout, I guess you'd say. In Texas history, no player with 10 or more career touches has ever been as prolific as Ryan Wingo. Did you know this?
10 or more?
10 or more touches.
What is that? How does – hold on. You're going to have to unpack that.
9 receptions, 1
10
rush.
Or less touches, you mean?
10 or more.
Okay.
10 or more touches in their career. No, 10 or less would be like Brennan Thompson has 1 career catch as a Longhorn. He would not qualify, right?
Okay.
You have to have at least 10 catches or at least 10 touches.
So you're saying he's off to the best start?
He's off to the best start. He's the most prolific wide receiver to start his career in Texas history. He has 10 touches for 294 yards, 29.4 yards per touch. That's 5 yards more than Maurice McCloney in the 80s. Tariq Black.
Tariq Black went on to have an NFL career with the Colts.
He went 10 for 240 and a touchdown in his one season in his 10 games. Wingo's in his 9th game, or sorry, not his 9th game. He's in his fourth game, and he has 9 receptions for 239. So he's right there on the same receiving track, but he also has that 1 carry for 55 yards. And that's 9 more yards than Herky Walls, who did it on 64 touches in his career.
That's somebody's name on the in the chat, isn't it? Don't they go by Herky? Or is that on the site?
Somebody has it on the site. It's Herky. Yeah, it's Herky.
Yeah,
okay. So Wingo is he's just 21 yards behind Isaiah Bond for the team lead in yards from scrimmage in 2024 through 4 games, of course. But as far as starting your career off, he's the most prolific wide receiver / running back / tight end since anything. He's the most prolific offensive weapon in Texas history, with at least 10 touches.
Dude, a total dog and an alpha. How did you sort that data to find that? Or is that something that somebody tweeted?
No. I found that on looking up scrimmage yards, and I was trying to figure it out because I was like 26 point. This dude's average 26.6 yards per reception. That's ridiculous. And then I remembered he had a 55-yard carry, and I was like, wait, I wonder. And the kind of, I guess the driving factor behind it was my Monday piece. I accounted for all of the super explosive plays in 2024 so far. And the team has through their games, it's 8, 7, 6, and 5 in each of the games. And I was just like, these are super explosive plays. And Wingo popped up 4 or 5 times. Helm was on there 5 times. Bond was on there 4 or 5 times. And that just kind of caught my eye. And then I sorted all since 1956 is where the stats go back to on Sports Reference. And he's the most prolific in Texas history with at least 10 touches.
That's just wild, man. Do you think that hold on, let me turn this stupid thing off so I don't just do you think that it's going to be a situation where, because if you look at this last week, Ryan Wingo 14.29% target share, which I think was second most on the team. I can't believe that the biggest target share of the year this year, Cody, was this last week. Jaden Blue had a 25% target share. Can you believe that? That's the biggest target share that any single guy has had all season long. But Wingo this last week, 14.29% target share, but only an 8.87% target share on the season. And if you just look at the skill player participation stuff, Wingo this last week, 39% of snaps. And you have to figure that, that was his snaps have kind of been inflated a little bit in the Colorado State, the UTSA, and the ULM games, just because those have, not that Michigan was close, but those games have been bigger blowouts with, the coach more certain about getting guys who are technically, look, man, I mean, we have to say it. He's been awesome, and Wingo's a beast, and he's an alpha, and he's a dog, right? But I mean, he's kind of a backup right now, right? Him and
He's kind of a
Jonte
backup. He's kind of a backup, but when he's on the field, what happens?
No, it's like, and all I'm saying is that it's like as he, yeah. So there's the participation rates. Gosh, it tilts me endlessly that I forgot to sort the running backs. Look at that. Jaden Blue has 105, and he's right in the middle between those two 69s. That bothers me. Oh God, dude, I can't. It hurts my eyes. I can't. It goes to show how neurotic I am that I look at that whole sheet and that's the first thing I notice. I can't believe I didn't notice that when I put it up. But anyway, I can't think about anything else. I need to go. Yeah. Anyway, it's like every single time he gets an opportunity, it's like every time, except for when he gets a pass interference. And I think that the one drop, not the drop, but the one incompletion in the game that was not the pass interference one, I think they should have called pass interference. If you go back and watch it, he was interfered with. So, man, he looks really good. And the fact that he doesn't get in games till, I mean, when's the earliest he's even gotten in a game?
Well, this game was the fourth drive, right?
I think is that what we talked about yesterday? Let me just.
No, I just saw you working on the deep dig today, and I was looking for him specifically.
So that's in the skill chart. So yeah, so he goes, yeah, he came in on the fourth drive of the game with Jonte. So the first three drives of the game were, as usual, Golden and Bond with, the first three snaps of the game, DeAndre Moore plays, and then he has the hip pointer, and then we had a couple where Silas Bolden, he was the first one in. Silas Bolden's looking to me like he's sort of the kind of the gadget sort of chess piece, first dude in that. If DeAndre Moore can't go, is kind of a slot type of player. But they also, after DeAndre Moore's out, they also got Jonte Cook in during the third series at the slot as well. So kind of interesting. It's almost like, if I don't know, man, it's just that Wingo just plays like he plays X for mostly. There's sometimes whenever he lines up over at flanker, but he's mostly X, and they don't really change around what he does as much. So it doesn't give as much flexibility to get into the game as it does with Bolden and as it does with Cook and those guys who have the versatility to maybe play inside too. He doesn't play inside.
If I told you that Texas has 26 super explosive plays, which I tabbed as 20 plus yards. I think explosive is technically 15 plus. Super explosives, 20 plus yards, 26 times in 4 games, and not a single one would be Silas Bolden. If I told you that before the season, I think everybody would say, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, man. It's dude, I mean, you got to play the games. He's like, you got to play the games. Man, it's clicking up over 200 people watching here between X and YouTube. Thanks to everybody for being here. And thanks to Chris Pavola for the super chat. For $2.99. Thank you. Wait, are y'all saying Wingo's better than Roy Williams? I don't think we're going quite there yet. Right, Cody, but, man,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying with 10 touches overall, that's the stat. I know Roy Williams had a massive third game of his career. He went for like $175 against Oklahoma State. So maybe at that stage, I can't sort that way. I don't have a database that is smart enough to go back to 2000 and sort specifically by 3 games and not
plug it in Chat GPT and ask it to do it.
but you'd have to get play-by-play. You'd have to, I guess I could manually go to that Oklahoma State game play-by-play if I can find it and check his first 2 catches in that game. And if they'd have to be pretty big catches though to be like the same.
Yeah, dude. Well, look, man, it's like
he's too sick. I mean, we're talking about him right there. I think that's the thing. Like,
and here's the other thing too. All right, and I could hear what somebody might say, right? Of course.
DK Metcalf, time Xavier Worthy.
I think what people could say is like, well, dude, I mean, and here, this is true. I mean, he does play later in games, right? He might be playing against dudes that are kind of worn down or players that, maybe the other team has some backups and stuff in there by then as well. And you know what, to that I would counter is it feels like, man, all of his big receptions and the big end around and all that stuff like that have happened during key points in games when the games aren't in doubt, because there hasn't been a game that's been in doubt yet, but whenever the games are still in prime time. And the other thing is he's done everything that he has in those game scripts. And so you think about the game script, think about what Texas has been having to do late in these games. I mean, I know that Arch just wants to throw deep and all this stuff, right? But you're at a point in the game when you're up 40-something points. It's not exactly the most conducive sort of game script for a wide receiver to be the most productive, in through the first 4 games or through the first, whatever, 10 touches of their career, as Cody's done the research on that he has, right? That's almost like something that you would get from take what Malik Neighbors is doing in the NFL right now, right? He's so prolific right now, for one, because he's like Wingo, he's too sick and he's a dog. But it's also like the Giants stink. They're having to throw all the time. It's like they get behind in games unless they're playing. Gosh, I was just reminded that they beat Cleveland last week. I was looking for our circuit entries. I totally forgot about that. But
we're not taking the Giants, by the way.
What?
We're not. I'm not getting on the Giants.
I'm not getting on the Giants. I was just interested in Cleveland getting 1.5 going to Las Vegas. But then I looked, I'm like, oh God, the Giants beat them.
Their offensive line is just broken.
Yeah, but anyway, it's like with Neighbors, you're like, well, yeah, dude, the Giants are bad. They're having to throw it all over the yard. He's their best receiver. He's the number 1 read, all that stuff. Well, Wingo's not. Like, Wingo comes in a little bit later in games. He's not until the 4th series, and he plays during bad game scripts when Texas wants to run later in games, and he's still doing this. What's he gonna do when he gets more time? That guy's, I mean, he's going to be a centerpiece of the offense. He's gone after 3 years, man. You're right, dude. It's like he's already the alpha. He's not. I mean, even if you look at the statistics, didn't you just say he's got more scrimmage yards than Bond? Bond has 3 touchdowns. Wingo has 2.
He's like 12 scrimmage yards behind Bond for the lead on the team.
And he plays only 38% of snaps. And Bond, what is that? Here, it's right there. I'm sorry, 32% of snaps, and Bond plays 55.32% of snaps. He's got an 8.9% target share.
It doesn't really make sense. Well, like when you look at that from like a statistical top-down standpoint, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, dude, I just think it's the same thing that I've been saying. It's like every time he gets a chance, he comes up big, unless he gets interfered with, which he did twice in this last game, and only one of them got called.
What we're talking about it, so I'm just going to bring it up. What is a one season, so regular season, 12-game ceiling for Ryan Wingo in 2025 with Arch Manning at quarterback? What's a receiving yards ceiling, you would say?
I can't wrap. I don't know. I'm like Sark today on the conference call, man. There's somebody got to ask a cockamamie question about NIL and what are you going to do with the revenue shares next year? It's like, dude, I got a full plate right now, man. I don't even know what the revenue sharing is. But if we're gonna have a lot of time we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about 2025 here, and we'll have 8 months to talk about it.
No, I know. I'm just saying, today, you know how prolific he is. A year from now, with Arch as a full time, he's the full time.
But what I'm saying is, I haven't fully grasped what an Arch Manning offense. Arch Manning puts on an air show, man.
You
And
just
Wingo
watched it
gets
for 2
open
weeks. That's what I'm
deep.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, he gets like, and Wingo gets open deep too, man. It's not like he just needs to be some kind of Michael Thomas slant boy. He
No,
doesn't.
no, no.
Like, we're not
This
talking
is
like a
that's
Rashi Rice. Yeah, and
that's
so
yeah.
so uh, it's gonna sound. I mean, okay, so okay, so next year so we're saying Bond is gone.
Golden's gone.
You think
Golden's
Golden's gone? You
Well,
think
if Golden
Golden's
keeps
gone?
playing how he's playing right now, he's gone. And
Golden's gone. So next year you got Wingo, Cook, probably one of the French, like French or gosh, I mean, you got French and Lockett and maybe Michael Terry, maybe in just the most perfect of worlds, like a Dalen McCutcheon. You still have like Parker Livingstone and Aaron Butler. Aaron Butler hadn't played this year. Freddie Dubose, I guess he's still hurt. Hey man, I'm looking at this sheet. Can we talk about is Amari Niblack hurt?
I don't know.
I don't know
I'm not
either.
I'm not the reporter.
Yeah, I'm just like what? Anyway, we can talk about that after a while.
I just give me a number though, like a ballpark number. You just watched the Arch Manning offense for 2 weeks, and we've seen how prolific Wingo is. I'm just saying, like, give me a number that comes to mind. You've watched all these, these prolific NFL wide receivers. You're saying 3 years Wingo's gone. That means we're talking about a top 60 pick, top 70 pick. So what kind of a 12 games with Arch Manning? Does he average 100 yards a game?
Let me look. Hold on. Let me pull up just give me some. Let me get some reference here. So 2024 rookie staff rankings, just so I can look and just see kind of what some of these target shares that some of these dudes had. Man, it's not. Let me pull it up easy. What do you remember off the top of your head what guys
Malik was like I want to say Malik was like 15 something like this, 1500. I think Marv was like at 1250 back-to-back years. Roma Dunze was 1600, I want to say, yards.
Yeah, but let me just look at their reception there. Okay, and so do we think that Wingo's going to break? Technically, he's technically meeting breakout thresholds right now. So he's going to have an 18-year-old breakout age.
Yeah.
So if we look at guys with 18-year-old breakout ages, which last year did we even have one? Yeah. So last year we had Rome. Worthy broke out at 18. We had Malik Neighbors broke out at 19 as a sophomore. How many true freshman breakouts do we even have last year? Was Worthy the only one? He was. Huh. Oh no. One other. I thought I saw one other 18. Yes, 18. Jacob Cowing from Arizona broke out in his freshman.
Where's he at UTS or UTEP? He did it at UTEP.
Right. He transferred. Okay. Hence the transfer. Dude, if he breaks out this year, I mean, we just look at historical comps, and you're looking at dudes that go for between 1,000 and
Rome's kind of a good comp.
Okay, so with Arch, I'll say he goes for 1175 and 8 touchdowns.
Okay,
fair enough.
I think that so if he goes for 11, the reason I asked the question is because if you think he hypothetically goes for 1175 next year, he's on pace this year for about 600-700. That puts him at about 1900 all time. Then he's got his junior season, his third season, and he's already tied with Lima Sweeter in that area, 12th all time at Texas in receiving yards going into his senior season or his junior season.
This is from David Keith Williams, our famous mystery author, in the chat. These 3-name guys, man, they all sound like authors to me.
He's either an author, a doctor, a dentist, or I don't know,
or like a saboteur, like assassin. They always give these guys three names. Okay, I'm not sure if Amari Niblack is injured, but I think with the emergence of Gunnar Helm as receiving tight end and Juan Davis as an H-back and flex tight end, there hasn't been a need for Niblack. Well, that's true, David Keith. But do you go by David Keith or just David or like DK?
D Will.
DK Will. David Keith. That's not my point. I mean, that's very clear. He's at least third on the pecking order. My point was, it's like we saw like a whole quarter of just a bunch of like Spencer Shannon came in, and then it was Spencer Shannon and Jordan Washington, and then after that they're bringing in like walk-ons and stuff. I figure that there's somebody saying that Niblack had a minor injury last week. I don't remember that happening. He didn't play much. He didn't play much last week. So maybe that is it. That's nothing that it goes to show like what kind of little impact that he's had, because if say Gunnar Helm or Juan Davis had a little setback and was kind of injured and maybe might not play for a whole game, we sure as heck would have had to report on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're in a spot with Niblack where it's just like, it's kind of like, what? You know, it's an interesting thing that it's like, it isn't even really on the radar. It's just like, so I guess now I'll try and look into it just because I'm curious, but it doesn't seem like it's anything that's hopefully nothing that's too big a deal. I know it's a big deal to you guys to hopefully get us to do. Cody, did you have a link or something about what was that thing about the FWF? Was there a Texas Beef Traders thing that you had?
What, that QR code on top?
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
What's
that for?
Does that say Football with Friends Live UTUGA? Is that what that says?
Yeah. So are you planning on doing it, or are you gauging interest?
I actually put up, there's a test before the show, and I meant to take it down. I didn't mean to put it up, and it had been sitting there for the last 20 minutes. No, but I wanted to gauge interest. I wanted to gauge interest in it because I'm looking at flights right now. I'm thinking about getting one, but I'd like to know within, probably a week or two. I probably need to know.
Okay. So if you
guys
kind of
want to come to town for that game, man.
Okay.
Roll up.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be a fun one. So if you guys want to come to Texas Beef Traders, who's our great sponsor, and hang out with us for a live edition of the show, drink some beers, eat some free steaks and sliders and burgers and sausages and who knows what else. Scan the QR code and let us know. And if enough people show interest, then Cody will fly in and we'll do it, because we'd love to hang out with you guys and love to meet y'all. We had a great time at the great time at the last one. So we wanted to try it for a home game and thought we might be able to get better attendance like that. We'll throw some cornhole. But look, Texas Beef Traders is where you need to go to get all your beef that you could possibly need. We talk about them every day. It's the best. You get 10% off if you tell them that. What are you drinking, Cody?
My wife made me an espresso martini.
An espresso martini. Wow. That thing gives
we got 2 shows tonight. We've been going all day. I had a Texas Beef Traders bone-in ribeye at about 9 a.m. this morning. That's all I've had today. Hit the sauna, hit the ice bath, hit the bike. I had to end the day with an espresso martini so I can keep on going. But
all right. Well,
had the Texas Beef Traders rare bone-in ribeye. I tell you what, Alex, I made it in a cast iron pan. Yeah. And I debated not doing it. I debated going out, turning the old smoker on, get that thing cooking. I didn't. I did it in a cast iron. I did it with some butter, some good seasoning.
Yeah,
that thing was, I tell you what, I didn't put too much seasoning on it either, but I lathered it in a little bit of butter. That's why I cooked it in. And Texas Beef Traders, man, that bone-in ribeye, whoo, baby, that is and I eat a lot of ribeyes. That's up there.
Everything there's so good, man. It's just so good, and there's no antibiotics, no shots, no anything, man. Go to Texas Beef Traders, or if you can't make it into Lakeway, just call them, put in an order, get 10% off, and they'll just bring it to your house. Okay, so we'll leave up the QR code for the FWF Live up there on the side. You guys just let us know, and of course it's running here on the bottom. If you have emails for the show, gosh, I'm so bad. I haven't checked those emails at all. But if you guys want to email us, I didn't check them today. So if I didn't get back to you today, very sorry about that. But you can email us fwfemails@gmail.com if you have questions. Looks like there's a couple people saying that I see 2 within the Gmail saying that if we do a Georgia show, they'll come. So that's 2. That's 2. So in addition to anybody else who scans the QR code and
Drop,
wants to.
drop
Okay.
drop the link in the chat as well with the Orange Blue account. So that's up there.
Yeah.
I also see a super chat in here too. We got to get to that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's get to it because I want to tell you guys about something sensational. Oh, and also, can we give the update that Anwar has on Quinn? Like, has he tweeted that out?
I think I don't know if he did or not. I would not say the second part of it with the other player, but
okay.
I don't think he tweeted. He did not tweet it out, but
all right. Well, we'll leave that to
go over to
Anwar.
Orange Bloods. Go over to Orange Bloods. Anwar has an update on Quinn. We'll just put it that way.
Yep. Update on Quinn. So go check it out over on Orange Bloods. Okay. What is this? Okay, so this is something that I wanted to get into at some point. I kind of wanted to talk about it through the lens of what these coaches said during the SEC during the SEC media calls. There were some that just didn't. There's some that just didn't. They just didn't want to engage with it. Sark didn't want to engage with it. Sam Pittman sure had a lot to say about it. Hugh Freeze had a lot to say about it. I think these coaches think Hugh Freeze is a total jerk.
They do 100. None of them. If you listen to the SEC
they
podcast
disrespect him. No, I don't listen to it.
I don't either. I don't listen to really any content, but because we are in the SEC now.
Yeah.
We as media members, not as Texas, because I do not identify as we, but I identify as a media member in the SEC because it is #our conference. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to digest this stuff on a weekly basis, I'm going to put 10 toes in. There's no other podcast that I really respect in the SEC space. If you got one, drop in the chat. I'll listen to it. But they cover every single team.
What's it called?
Pretty unbiased. It's that cockamamie SEC Mike on Twitter. He's rather anti-Texas, but I will say him and Cousin Shane. It's a pretty. I turn it on when I go on my bike ride or when I go for a run, and it's pretty digestible in that. Like, there's a little humor in it, but anyway, the point is they go in on Hugh Freeze and they just talk about him being a jerk and a couple of words I can't say in here. You'll make me pay a tip into the jar, but it's a pretty like universal thought. And I don't get it because when I was in Roanoke in Virginia, I was 45 minutes from Liberty for the majority of Hugh Freeze's time at Liberty. And I went to Liberty for the pro day for Malik Willis. And I didn't talk to Hugh, but I was around.
Was that Demario Douglas at that thing too?
Douglas was a year later. I didn't go see Douglas. I thought about going up there. I don't remember why. I think I went to go see Dontavian Wicks that day up at UVA. I couldn't make it to Liberty because I went to go see him. Anyway, Hugh was great. Like, as far as running the event, he doesn't, of course, run it. It's the SID or whatever for the school, but he was there. He's talking to other coaches. He's nice to all the media members. Like, I thought he was a good dude. Like, I know he's got his off-field thing, but he's got a top 5 recruiting class right now with Auburn. I think they're like, I don't know what they are, ranked 6th in the country or 5th in the country in the 2025 recruiting cycle. I mean, you got Cam Coleman. He's got Lambert Smith from Penn State. They've gotten guys to go there. I don't know what to make of it because it does. I mean, Lane Kiffin's definitely the lead. You know, he's definitely the white horse in this anti-Hugh Freeze conversation. I don't know.
He hates him.
He hates him. And I don't know what the overall vibe is. I would like to honestly know like what the players really think of him. Cause I know like and this is what comes to my mind, Alex. And this is kind of a really like real thought that I have is you often hear where the media portrays and pushes stuff. Right. And because Hugh comes out and because he's dead honest and he's like, we need somebody that's not going to turn the football over. We need somebody that's not going to turn the football over. He's not going to throw a pick, whatever. And you popped up the Bo Wallace thing here. And he talked about Bo Wallace today on the pod. But here's my take here is the media will portray anything that they dislike or anything that is phrased wrong. Well, who's the number one coach in the eternity of college football space that has been completely turned backwards because of the media, because he's too vocal out into the open sphere? It's Coach JB, who was on the Netflix show. And he is, again, very open with his language, right? Very vulgar with his language. But you could go behind in any locker room, most locker rooms, and you will get a coach that's pretty vulgar. Anytime these kids go live on Instagram, it's pretty vulgar. It's not exactly like
It's a
hey,
locker
buddy,
room. It's
hey,
locker
buddy,
room talk.
congratulations on the good game. Would you like a medal? Like, that's not what these locker rooms are. That's not how you build these. That's not how you build it. So Hugh Freeze, he might be a dick. I'll pay $1 for it. He might be a dick, but that is what majority of these guys are. You think Nick Saban's nice? You think Kirby Smith, Kirby Smart doesn't just cuss players out? He does. He does. I've watched him do it. I've been to Georgia 3-4 times. I've watched him cuss players.
Does.
And it happens more often than you even know or see. And so Hugh Freeze, dragging a guy in the public is not the first time a coach has ever drug a guy in the public. So I don't realize I had a soapbox about Hugh Freeze here and defending him, but I'm kind of defending the guy, even though he may be a scumbag on the outside.
Well, Bo Wall, I mean, he said that Bo Wallace was the most important recruit he ever got. And like this thing he's saying that
this was also from Saturday night. This Bo Wallace.
He's just in for himself. And he's just trying to collect an extra 100 racks a win. If you all know the medications and shots I was taking to get that man his money, you wouldn't believe it that they would let me walk on a field like that. It's like he's just saying that. He's basically saying like he's kind of saying he's a bad guy. He's saying he's a bad guy.
Here's the thing: is what Matt said it here. He says there's a lot of tweets, there's a lot of messages in here. I don't know where it went. He said Freeze is never the problem. It's always the players. That's the problem with the whole thing, is that it's always the player's problem. It's never the coach's problem. That's the one problem I do have with Hugh, is that he never takes accountability for any of it.
Well, speaking of Hugh Freeze, what did he? I mean, he said something. Okay, so he said, look, I have no idea what's going on there. Because they asked him about the UNLV stuff, and these guys. This was like 10:30 in the morning. I was doing the deep dig. I like to listen to the teleconference when I'm doing it, kind of like a new tradition for me. Is
our conference
as cockamamie as that sounds. But he said, like, I have no idea what's going on there. He said, I hope it's not bad because I love Barry Odom. He said, we're all still struggling to figure out, how to navigate the stuff with. So I'm assuming it's NIL stuff. He's like, we're still struggling to figure out, especially those of us who are older, who built programs with things like team chemistry in the locker room and having that being the winning edge. He says that's getting harder and harder. If you look at Ole Miss and Missouri, they've done some good things with NIL and they maintain a strong winning edge, but I'm constantly trying to figure out if the locker room feels like, there's inequities. He says that's a concern I always have. He said, I don't know if it's ever going to be fair in everyone's eyes. It's like what is it? Michael Taff always says, man, I can't believe I'm quoting Michael Taff, but it's a quote that's a good one about envy being the thief of joy, right? It's like, but it's true. These guys in the locker room, they can maybe envy each other's NIL deals, and it's not a good way to go through life being envious of others. It is truly a thief of joy to be an envious person. But but that's something as a coach. These are young developing men. You're trying to help them develop them into men, and that's something you need to teach them. And not everyone's going to understand these important life lessons. And so I can see where he's coming from with it, but that's kind of what he says is we're in kind of a new weird world. And so I can understand it from his angle. But then, dude, the funniest thing was right. And I texted Cody about this. I can't get over it, man. Right after
just a hammer.
Lane Kiffin comes on.
Monotone voice.
By the way, Cody, I mean, all right. Well, Lane Kiffin is with you about Kentucky. He's like, he thinks I am a cockamamie for having him ranked where I have them ranked. But he says that they said like Hugh Freeze just gave you a nice compliment about how you've been able to manage and navigate NIL. And he goes, oh, that's nice of you to compliment our management of our collective. I'm sure he'll try and steal Walker Jones just like he's tried to steal all the others.
Just a hammer.
I guess
monotone voice doesn't change levels.
Yeah. And the media was like, oh, okay. Like I guess Walker Jones is the collective guy. I'm seeing RIP Bruce Springsteen. Is that true?
No way.
No, that can't be true. You guys let us know if that's. You guys let us know.
I will say that OU lost a commitment. That's a real tweet. That's a real message that Rex.
Who did they lose?
They lost a 3-star defensive tackle, Kamori Moore from Missouri.
Oh, didn't we hear about that like a few days ago? Didn't he say he was going to? Or
I don't know. Hayes Fawcett just tweeted it.
oh, okay.
He's a second D lineman to decommit from Oklahoma in the last 10 days.
Didn't they lose another one? Yeah,
it's their second in 10 days.
But that guy, I don't think he's interested in Texas. I think he headed straight down to like Miami to go. Like that was after a Miami visit that he decommitted. Who's the one that just decommitted?
Kamori Moore. He's from Missouri. He does not have a Texas offer.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Texas should kind of look into that, man.
Bruce Springsteen's birthday he turned 75 yesterday. I don't think he's dead.
Does his wiki say he's dead?
Well, no. Google says he just turned 75 yesterday.
Okay.
So I don't.
All right.
There's no news, anyways.
Okay. Well, anyway,
try to steer us like that. Damn it.
Okay. Can I tell you about something sensational? Just sensational about the missed tackles.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Okay, so get this. So basically, people were getting on me about. They said, "Hey, man, why in the defensive deep dig do you not put missed tackles on there anymore?" And this was after the fourth game I'd done. Right? I was like, "Dang, man, I don't put them on there anymore." And I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Why?" And then it hit me. I'm like, "Well, because I still chart them, but in so many years in the past." It's been like front of mind whenever I go to write the thing. It's like, can you believe that they missed 14 tackles in this game? And it's like one of the main things I wanted to put in there. It's like they need to clean up the tackles. They need to clean up the missed tackles, like missed tackles. And people, I guess, this one guy was like, he's like, I've been missing the missed tackle stuff. Well, so I was like, dude, why haven't I been noticing it? Like, why hadn't it been front of mind? And so missed tackles so far versus 20 in 2024. I'll just go through them. Colorado State, Justice Finkley, David Benda, and Andrew Makuba each missed one. So three missed tackles in that game. Versus Michigan, Blackwell, Muhammad, Barron Sorrell, Alfred Collins, Anthill, David Benda, Jelani McDonald, and Michael Taff missed a tackle. Maurice Blackwell actually missed two, and the rest of those guys each missed one. Versus UTSA, there was a group of 7 dudes with one missed tackle. Gavin Holmes, Burke, Sadir, Colin Simmons, David Benda, Maurice Blackwell, Derek Williams. And then versus ULM, we had 3 guys with 2 missed tackles each. Ethan Burke, Ty Anthony Smith, and Makuba. Then Barron Sorrell and Tia Sevilla each had 1. So in total, we're looking at 27 missed tackles over the first 4 games of the season. So that's an average of 6.75 missed tackles per game. So if we're going to say that's over a 12-game regular season, that's what the deep dig measures is the regular season. So that would translate to a total of 81 missed tackles. All right, so I just compared that back through 2015 in the deep dig. So we're talking 81 projected missed tackles so far. Okay, 2023 it was 100. 2022 it was 115. 2021 119. So since Sark's gotten here, PK's gone 119 missed tackles, 115, 100. So it's gotten better every time, and now he's on pace to get 81 with some room even up from there. If he, they'll probably regress a small bit. They played against bad opponents. But I looked at it and I looked at some of these other teams like Herman. He had 101 missed tackles. He had 136, 129, and 98. Strong in 2016 had 155, and in 2015 he had 147. So we're instead of looking at 6.75, we're looking at like 13 and 12.25 during strong. Okay, but get this. This is the one. Okay. So we know PK, he's like, he comes into this season. People are like, why is the pass defense so bad? He's like, yo, it's not that bad. The scheme's fine. He's like, but last year we had Tavondre Sweat. We had Byron Murphy. No one could run on us. They had to throw on us more. And when we didn't get wide receivers on the ground, it led to explosive plays. Like the defense is going to be fine. Is there anybody out there that thinks the pass defense is bad right now? I don't. And so I got to thinking, I'm like, well, is that true? And so I went and sorted the sheets dating back to 2015 by cornerbacks, nickelbacks, DBs, and safeties. And I just said, how has that tackling been? The tackling on the back end. It doesn't take any genius or any wizard to tell you guys if your last line of defense is missing tackles, that doesn't lead to good things, especially when the guys they're missing tackles on are usually the fastest dudes on the other team. They're wide receivers that have been good enough to get to the third level of the defense. So I looked at that and so, okay, so this year, so out of those 27 missed tackles, eight of them have been by DBs. Okay. So that's an even 2 per game, a projected 24 over the season. All right. Let's look at Sarkisian since 2021. Okay. In 2023, there were 49 missed tackles by DBs, 4.1 per game, 104% more often. 2022, 40 misses by DBs, 3.3 per game, 67% more often. 42 missed tackles in 2021 by DBs, 75% more often than 2024 to date, or the 2024 projection as of this date after 4 games. So you think like, oh my gosh, we're looking at between a 67 and 104% improvement. That's shocking. But consider this. Under Herman, he had missed tackles in 2020 of 45, but he had 45 missed tackles by DBs alone in 2020. In 2019, 80 missed tackles by DBs alone. In 2018, 88 missed tackles by DBs alone. And in 2017, 95 missed tackles by DBs alone. Texas right now. Yeah, he was getting better, right? 95, 88, 80, 45. But
so we got to blame Strong for the poor recruiting of DBs and poor teach tackling, because the way he 59 to 74 for Strong, and then just 95 that first year under Herman, like just abysmal, bottom of the barrel, and then they just built from there, and it's gotten better literally every single year until last year.
Strong in 2016, 6.17 per game by DBs alone. Dude, Texas right now is projected to have as many tackles by its entire team as Texas had by DBs in 2019 and 2018.
That's a wild stat.
It's just like, are you kidding me, man? And so if your eyes have been, and I understand Mark Ruiz is saying they haven't been tested. I get it.
They're playing football.
But here's the thing, dude. They
also played the defending national champions. So
you just,
I understand your point, and they're not as good as they were.
Missed tackles are missed tackles. And as I look back through these games, and I was having to go through them game by game, and I was just like, well, dude, you can look back at some of these Rice games. They missed 15 tackles and stuff. You know, it's a big deal. And to me, it speaks not only to the fact that they were able to set out with a goal to do something, but it's like Sark says, DBs flying to the football, especially on screens, but just in the open field in general, making good open field tackles. That's culture. That's culture. Man, it's like that's a culture play. It's like whenever Jaden Blue stuffed at the goal line, you get the offensive line going in there, push him in. Like they're like, well, that's a culture play, man. Gang tackling's culture stuff. So I think it really says a lot, man. I think it says a lot, and it also goes to show, man. Put a smile on your face, dude. Everybody should be real happy. It's like, man, those really were the bad old days. That's some tough stuff, dude. You got anything from the SEC media conference, or anything you wanted to touch on from the deep dig stuff?
I think you touched on enough. Thought the Trey Moore stuff was interesting, but I think the most interesting thing I thought was Sark was asked about the depth that is needed, and I didn't expect him to give any type of number, or this is stuff that I just eat up. I love this, and I know you do too. And I expected him to go, oh yeah, you need to have 2 deep, and it's important to have big guys and speed, and just reiterate the coach stuff. And he all of a sudden just goes right into it. He goes, yeah, you got to have 2 deep. You got to have 10 O linemen, 6 receivers, 4 or 5 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, 8 D linemen, 4 edge rushers, 4 linebackers, 4 corners, 2 stars, 4 safeties. And we have 2 kickers too. And I was like, what? Wait, he just read the playbook off to you? And I was like, I love that. I mean, I wrote it down as quick as I could.
I wrote it. I wrote every word that I can read it. I can read it back to you right now. He says you have to have 10 offensive linemen, 6 wide receivers, 4 to 5 running backs, 2
I just read,
quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, 8 DLs, 4 defensive ends, 4 linebackers, 2 stars, 4 safeties, 4 corners. He's just like, wow, Sark. It's crazy, man. Yeah. So you and I are both the same geek, man. We both were just like, listen to this Sark, exactly what he said, and just writing it down, dude.
but I like didn't see it coming. I fully expected him to go, yeah, we need big guys, you need fast guys, good quarterbacks. Then just leave, kind of let the answer go.
What did you take away from his stuff about saying that Trey Moore's playing great and that he's exceeded expectations? After we're here kind of saying that Trey Moore, we need to reassess our expectations for maybe, I think what it goes to say, honestly, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think it has to be like our expectations of him were overblown.
Our expectations were overblown because he said he's exceeded expectations in the run game. He's been good at rushing, and I think he'll be fine. He just needs to get more comfortable. And I think those are all factual statements. You would be able to attest to the run game thing because you've done the deep dig. Again, he still has played 113 snaps. He's still played fine. Like he hasn't been bad. He hasn't
been bad. He just hasn't been productive.
Better than Collins. He just hasn't had a sack. And Sark alluded to that. The thing that I liked when he was talking about the edge room was the emergence of Colton Vasek, he says. The emergence of Colton Vasek. And when I look at this chart that's on the screen right now, I got to go way down 25 spots to see Trey Moore. I only got to go down 8 spots to see Colton Vasek, and I love the trend line that he's on right now.
But I mean, it's like, dude, I've even checked to see, like, all right, so they say I've even
what's Burke weigh right now? 260?
No, 230 something, probably, maybe 240 something. He's not big.
He's got a little belly. He don't weigh 260.
You can look. I don't have my roster on me, but I think he's maybe
website. Ethan Burke, 6'6".
Oh, Burke. I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking about Trey Moore.
No. Ethan Burke, 266, 260.
Yeah.
It was a left field statement because my brain went Vasek behind Sorrell, Ethan Burke cucked. Ethan Burke goes to 3-tech, works in, and poses a little better.
Well, I mean, they do some Ethan Burke and Baron Sorrell stuff at the 3-tech whenever they go into that NASCAR package.
But I was wondering if you maybe see that a little bit more, just based on, I haven't been the most impressed with really, outside of Vernon. Vernon's been fine, but outside of him, like none of these defensive tackles have really gotten me out of my chair. And I was just thinking through that, like Vasek comes up, you got 4 edge rushers that are pure right now. Maybe you work Ethan Burke a little bit more on the inside and just see what happens. I don't know. I mean, you need depth everywhere. So, I'm not saying they're going to do that or should. I'm just saying that's kind of where my brain went. Random thought.
You know what? Whenever Levy talked today, it was interesting what he said about.
Did you hear a 4-wheeler in the background when he was talking?
No, you texted me about that. I didn't hear it. Maybe I'm just used to hearing that stuff out here, dude.
And I'm hearing this guy, and it sounds like he's like in the car on the cell phone, and all of a sudden it's like wah, wah, in the background. I was like, wait, is this guy just like in Mississippi, just in the country right now, just bumpkin around or what?
All my neighbors are always driving 4-wheelers. So I probably just thought it was my neighbor Demetrius or his kids. But whenever Chip asked him about, like, because he said, dude, you beat Texas last year. He's like, do you see anything different about the defense and stuff like that, or whatever? I thought Chip asked a good question. He's like the physical pieces of it. He said, it was a little bit different. He said, but they're still really playing really good on the defensive line, on the interior there. He said he says, like, they're showing up and they're not missing those two. Easy for me to say.
Yeah.
He said, but they're not missing those two. And obviously Sweat and Murphy says they're rolling guys inside. He goes, whether it was me or whether it was anybody else who thought there might be a drop off, I haven't seen one. He says, I see the defense. I see their edge and their energy, the communication, urgency. Says it's just he tells it looks like it's another year inside the system and understanding the expectation in the building. He thinks the defense. He's like, I don't see any. He says he was kind of expecting to see a fall off. And, he didn't say it, but he said, whether it was me or anybody else, you might have expected a fall off. From those two, I haven't seen it. So thought that was at least something kind of interesting. At least he seems like a guy that's willing to kind of put up a fight, right? Do you think if he was out there listening to that four-wheeler go by that he was maybe wearing like a maroon shirt from Poncho Outdoors? Look at Colt McCoy having some fun. Look at his friend there, just getting to ride shotgun with Colt. You think that guy ever gets jealous about Colt's cool shirt and how Colt probably gets all the chicks? I think I would. But hey, listen, I guarantee you this. I would not let him look cooler than me because I have a bunch of Poncho clothes, dude. They're the best shirts, man. You got to make sure and go to Poncho. You can even get the new San Jacinto right there with the Longhorn on it, officially licensed by UT. Just such good quality, man. These shirts are so breathable, so nice, wrinkle free, lifetime warranties on them. They're like a button's never going to pop out or anything like that. Just nothing's going to happen with the stitching. If it does, they're going to take care of you. That's what it's like buying from a really, really good company. So Poncho Outdoors, make sure you go get them. Just the best shirts, man. Thanks so much to Poncho.
Whoops. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, here I am back again. So thanks again to Poncho for everything. And I also noticed that there are now creeping up towards 600 people in the Specs chat line. So thanks so much to Specs. And I saw on the show yesterday that Chad was doing that. Is there a new ad from them? Is there a whiskey sale going on right now?
Specs for our whiskey sale and enjoy the lowest prices on Texas' largest selection of whiskey. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Specs, cheers to savings.
Yes, it's Football with Friends. So pumped to be here tonight with you guys. We're here every night from 6 to 7 p.m. on the weekdays, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for helping us to grow the show. As always, you can email us, fwfemails@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you if you have show ideas, if you have topics you'd like us to talk about. If you want to please send your hunting pictures, send your fishing pictures. We would love to I hope we can get a bunch on the show this year, like we had last year, man. I want to see a bunch of antlers. But thank you guys for being here. We try to get in, get out, talk football, and we do appreciate you guys so very much.
We have a show after this, the Circa Millions cast over on Roster Watch, but Circa dropped something in the last hour that has something to do with Texas.
Oh,
I want to get your thoughts.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cam Ward plus 350. Wow. So Arch at plus 1,500, huh? Quinn at plus 1,500.
Ashton Genty, a running back ahead of Carson Beck. Travis Hunter still posing some value at plus 2,000. KJ Jefferson, Central Florida, plus 2,500.
Well, you're throwing your money away on something like the Boise running back. It's like if you're gonna take a non-quarterback, it's gonna have to be some kind of novelty like Travis Hunter.
Literally has to be. I mean, look at everybody else's. Outside of running back and athlete being Hunter, it's quarterback all the way through, down until you get to like plus 7,500. Like it's that like legit burning money at that point.
I can't do a control F on this, obviously, but do you see Jaden Blue on there?
There's no other Texas players on this list.
Dude, if Jaden Blue keeps playing, I mean, he's clearly he's not going to play the rest of the season like he played versus ULM. But if he does, like, see you later. I mean, it might not be Heisman, but dude, he ain't coming back. Like, good luck bringing him back. To a running back that can get a 25% target share. It's like score from anywhere, but be able to get the hard yards between the tackles. It's just. It's tough, man. SEC Matt's asking about steak picks. Of course you can send steak picks, man. Send picks of anything you're doing, having fun, as long as it's a kid and family appropriate. Yeah, man. We'd love to see any of that stuff, man. If you're into it, we're into it, unless it's super weird or cockamamie.
We got like a couple minutes left. Do you want to touch on offensive line just a touch?
Look at that thing.
Just a touch.
Kelvin Banks, 222 snaps per disruption allowed and/or penalty. He's still not allowed any disruption. He just committed a penalty. Do you know that and you see Cam Williams down here at 37.8, but if you look at his deal, he has 5 penalties and he's only allowed 1 act of true disruption. And he's sitting at like what, 227. So if he just didn't commit the penalties, his snaps per disruption would be even higher than Banks. I saw that you said in your mock draft ADP thing that you started seeing him go in the mock draft consensus in his 4th round.
Yep. 2 weeks ago, he was not on the list, nor was Gunnar Helm, nor was Ethan Burke. Cam Williams came in 133rd overall in ADP, 4th round. Gunnar Helm, 143rd, sorry, in the 5th round. And then Ethan Burke, 227th in the 7th round. 12 guys drafted, projected via ADP. Alfred Collins, DJ Campbell, just on the outside.
I guarantee you Alfred Collins gets drafted.
Yep.
I mean, that's a mortal lock. It just goes to show that these early mock drafts are so inefficient and stuff. And here's the thing: if Cam Williams, it's so just stupid. Like if you're projecting him to leave and give up what's going to be one of the most massive NIL deals anybody's ever gotten offered to them to stay, because he's going to have to get word that he's at least a day 2 pick. And to be honest, man, Cam Williams is playing right now like a guy that you could justify taking in round 1.
So there's a bunch of mocks. So the way their ADP works is a little broken, and in that they have a couple hundred mocks that come out per week that they account for their ADP.
What is this company?
NFL Mock Draft Database. It's it's the only place that really gathers it all and gives it to you in a manner to digest. Hundreds of mocks per week, including like mine, like all the NFL.com stuff, ESPN, like everybody's mocks. They gather it all here. Only one mock draft that has been done has Cam Williams on.
Was it your?
And it was 17th overall to the Browns, and it was a guy from Sports Illustrated.
Cam Williams?
Yeah.
So why is it so low?
Because they do hundreds of mocks a week. And so the ADP has him as a UDFA in every mock one. So I'm contextualizing it saying,
okay, so it isn't like people are saying like, all right, 4th round, all right, this is where they go Cam Williams. It's saying like there's one guy that has the right idea and then everybody else just isn't onto it yet.
Correct.
And so that's just how the numbers average out.
Yep.
Well, so you'll see that thing skyrocket because he's not leaving if he doesn't have a day 2 grade at least. And I do think, man, just based on what D-Hawk has said, that guy wants to go pro. I mean, he really wants to play in the NFL. I think it would take a lot to keep him to stay, especially if he keeps playing like this, dude.
Another 80 plus game. I mean, look at Michigan. If he doesn't have those penalties against Michigan, that drive, if you take out that one drive,
he's
Cam
playing
Williams all 80s,
and he has all the physical attributes to like. It's NFL teams are gonna see how big he is and how long his arms. Like talk about how they're gonna love Alfred Collins's wingspan. They're gonna look at like his dude. Cam Williams has got a longer wingspan than like Morgan Moses and stuff. It's like they're gonna go crazy for him once they get the measurables and they see how well he moves on his feet. So this could be a kind of ticker tape parade for old Cam. Here's the other thing, and I'll just say this to end the show. I came into the season thinking that DJ Campbell was the second most likely to leave for the NFL, right? Or I thought that of the guys who were June, that's a bad way to say it. Of the guys who could be early declares, that DJ Campbell was the one more likely to go pro. I can tell you now that is just not right. That is not right after 4 games. It's most certainly Cam Williams. Cody, you got anything for the people before we get out of here?
That's it.
All right, man.
Just tap in every single day this week, 6 p.m. Central Time. Football with friends. Big week. SEC is here. Our conference.
Now you can email us FWF emails at gmail.com. I'm on X at Alex Dunlap NFL. He's at Cody Carpentier. If you want to give us any feedback for the show, email us or get us there. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Need a title sponsor for the show. I know that Sunny's been talking with some people about it, so thanks to you guys who might have reached out to her about that. Please like the show, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow here on Football with Friends. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.